Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to, I'm not even sure what week this is. I think week 3 of my summer planning preparation video series, whatever I'm calling it. And so we just got back from the pool, hence all the pool stuff hanging on the banister, so please don't mind that. I'm gonna set you here. I got a bunch of other stuff done this morning, but now I'm shifting into homeschool prep. So my plan for this video is to take you into kind of how I plan, how I yearly plan. Now I have made a couple of videos about this, I believe, over the years. Definitely last year, I talked about my process. I'm getting into it. I think I'm gonna take you a little bit more like vlog style through it. So what I always do first is I print off kind of a big calendar. So this is a 2024-2025 calendar. I'm going to just brainstorm. So this is like literally first thing I do is I look at our year. I look at our start date, I look at all vacations, things like that, and I start to plan out my weeks. Now, since I use Sonlight, that's kind of what I do is I plan by the week, and then I try to fit everything else kind of in and around. Right now it's still kind of loose. I'm loosely figuring out what I'm going to do, but I'm gonna take you with me. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm going to set up my binder. So I have my planner from Sonlight, which I have a dedicated review that I put up last year. I feel the same about it. I'm still using it. It works perfect for me and the way I think and the way I plan. And then I have my flex binder, which I just emptied out in the last video, or one of the last videos, one of my summer planning sessions. And now I'm gonna fill it back up. That's really the plan. So I'm gonna get some things started here. I'm really excited. This is my favorite part. The cleaning out, not my favorite. The planning for next year, definitely my favorite. I'm gonna get started and I'm gonna share as I go when I think of things that might be interesting. Otherwise, I hope this is an encouragement and an inspiration for you guys to also kind of consider your yearly planning. And maybe you've already done this. Maybe you're on top of the game, but this is where I like to start. So just come along with me and we'll see what happens. So on this part, this is where I will put, and I have my Sonlight binders right here, so I'll grab those and I will pull out the scope and sequence for what I'm using. I might need more than that, I'm not sure. But what I'm gonna pull here is some of these beginning pages, especially this yearly plan. Now I am gonna plan on the one I just showed you that I printed out, but then I'll kind of transfer my final thoughts to that one. And here, and that starts January. That goes ahead, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm officially starting in August this year. So I'm gonna pull out my August planner here. I'm just gonna put August, I think. I think what I wanna do this year is just do 1 month at a time. I'm not quite sure, but I think I have to go get the dividers. I have them downstairs, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now. And I literally just put all of these extra planner parts downstairs, so I grab them on the monthly when I do kind of a reset and refresh, because I have a lot of instructor's guides and a lot of moving parts, and it's nice to just kind of keep it calmer. So I'm gonna keep that there, and then past here is gonna be where I put, I'm ahead of myself. I got excited. I'm gonna work on this first so that I can fill out this spread. Okay. All right, so you watched me do this. The important part of this is I was putting in our enrichment days. So I had our calendar for our enrichment school here. And so I was marking those out. I was marking out spring break, fall break, which is like Thanksgiving break. I was marking out when we could start, because usually we start in July. We can't start that early this year. So it's just gonna be different. And then honestly, how it worked out is if I labeled all the weeks, not including the break weeks, giving us a break for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks for Christmas, 1 week for spring break, we finish out at the same time that the public school ends around here. And so that just like, that gives us no wiggle room. And so for me, I prefer wiggle room. This will be maybe my first year trying to see if I can just make it happen during the calendar year, during the school year, because we really do enjoy our breaks. I mean, we enjoy swimming, obviously. And so, that makes me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, that it's kind of that tight. Usually it's not that tight, and we end up moving things because we've had a lot of health issues. Myself, my husband, maybe it's getting a little bit better, but it's not like a guarantee better. And so I just, It makes me nervous. So, okay, this is the start. This actually helped out quite a bit. What I'm gonna do is gonna set up my calendar in my Sonlight planner and start pulling some stuff in. All right, guys, I have you in a little precarious angle, but I have all my stuff out here on the counter and I have a ton of stuff I want to do. And it all involves like planning. It involves setting up my planner, which I was starting to do last time, where I set up my like yearly calendar. That is so helpful. But now I have other things that kind of stem out of that, right? I want to think about potential field trips. I want to think about documentaries, any themed activities like around like Thanksgiving or things like that. Since we are doing American history, I feel like those things would just enrich our learning, right? But I personally need to think about this stuff ahead of time. I am not very good at spur of the moment. I know some of you homeschool moms are so good at that. I'm just not. I'm a planner. I like to plan it out even if I don't use it, which I always have to emphasize in my videos because sometimes I get comments where people are like, how are you ever going to do all that stuff? I'm like, I'm not. I just like to have it available so that I can like grab it off the shelf, if you will. Like it's already kind of mostly planned, or the idea is there, or I have it kind of worked out enough in my brain that it would be easy to pick up, and I could do that mid-year when my brain is a little fried. I'm overwhelmed with all sorts of other things, right? So I try to prepare. And so those are the things on my list, as well as I want to go through my audiobook list. I did this last year and it was really helpful, is I made a note on my book lists that came from Sonlight as to which books have audiobooks, where are they located, are they on Libby or Everand, things like that, so that I can make note of that, as well as what books potentially I could move to the summer. And then this year in particular, like I said when I was sharing our family subjects, is I have other resources that I could potentially draw in. Like last year we were able to bring in a couple Brave Writer titles, and especially the one that came in like March or April, it was really refreshing. And so I want to kind of have those lists ready to go, as well as science supply lists, ideas for my first day plan, as well as set up Notion. So that's a lot of things. I will take you through some of those, but the one at the top of the list says a scripture box, which I already set up. Let me show you. Okay, so I have this box that I got a while back that is like a recipe box, right? And I got this idea from Simply Charlotte Mason, and it helps you remember old scripture. Because what I was struggling with and what I just set up yesterday was this, is I wrote out on note cards all the scripture we have learned from Sonlight over the past 2 years, so HBLB and HBLC, because we didn't do it all. I had to kind of go back through my notes, which this is why I'm glad I write on my instructor's guide. So I had to go back through my notes and see which ones we skipped and which ones we memorized. And I put them all on here. And then the other thing I did, which I think was super clever, is I made a playlist in my Google Drives. Well, actually, I get the downloaded songs from Sonlight. I save them on my computer, and then what I made was a total memorized list. And so here in Google Drive, these are all the songs we've ever memorized with Sonlight, and I'm just going to keep adding to it as we go. And then this is something that I could play in the car, I can play on our upcoming road trip, things like that. So this is all that we've memorized, and I can randomize it. I can do all sorts of things with it. Like I feel like for me, the problem before was we had some that we had skipped, so I couldn't just pop in the disc. I mean, I could have, I totally could have. I like the fact that we have memorized all these. So I set this all up, and then my plan is to start moving these back through the tabs so that we memorize them on an even day, or we memorize them on the 5th, or we memorize them on a Friday. You know, that system, which I can explain more if anybody's really interested. I think it's well known within the homeschooling world, but let me know down below if you don't know quite what I'm talking about. But I'm going to set this up, and this way we could remember the old scripture we have memorized. So I got that all set up and ready to go, and we can just add all our new scripture from HBLD. Now, let me just pull you over. I love digging into everything. I feel like prior to this, it's been just like setup, organization, cleaning. Now this is like digging. I have my instructor's guide right here. I have my computer. I have my planner out, and I have a bunch of places to take notes and to brainstorm ideas. So this year, I'm bringing you along vlog style. Like I said, instead of just kind of sharing my tips, which was last year's video, which I think I already linked, I'm taking you with me. All right, so this is a little harder than I expected. Honestly, what I did first was I went through the Build Your Library Level 5. Like I said, I have those resources. So I scrolled through and I found a number of different documentaries or ideas. Really, ideas were what I was kind of looking for, because I found like the cliff dwellings at Mesa Verde, which is here in Colorado. I mean, it's a little ways from where we're at, but that could be a potential field trip, because I feel like we don't have a ton of time for field trips. And honestly, you guys, we're planning, or I'm thinking about planning, kind of a big East Coast trip after we've done 2 years of American history. Obviously that's a ways from now, but I'm really, really excited about it. And then I did find a couple other DVDs. I found one that had to do with the Mayflower, one that had to do with kind of Industrial Revolution and mill times is what it's called. And then I just looked on my library and I found one about Native Americans from PBS. And so yes, there's a lot of streaming services, but I feel like for me, I'm almost overwhelmed by all of those options. I almost need to kind of pick and choose from various topics to kind of pull in. What I was just doing is I was making a list of my science supplies. It actually wasn't that bad. I have a small list of things that I can kind of purchase and put in a bin, like things like water bottles, or I can try and find 12 toilet paper rolls, just for instance, because I don't normally save those and I wouldn't save 12 at once. That would be a little harder. So what I'm going to do is start kind of collecting things. There are a few weeks where I'm going to need things like lettuce, a potato, lemon juice, things like that that I clearly cannot just put in a bin. And so what I'm going to do is I have these little stickies and I'm going to put them on the month on my planner spread. I'm just going to put a little sticky note on that and say like potato. And when I'm setting up that month, because I tend to set up my binder on a monthly basis, it'll have kind of a little sticky note reminder. So that's easy. That's done. I feel like this is not actually that interesting of a video. I'm so sorry. These are just the things I do to get ready for the year. Maybe what I'll do is I'll stop here and I'll do all the things, and then I'll come back and report back to you what I have decided upon. All right, friends, we just got back from the pool, and it was actually really good because as I was watching my kids play and do all the things, I had some thoughts about how I was planning the documentaries and field trips. What I did when I got home, because I was feeling a little overwhelmed, like I was like, this is too hard. I can't figure it all out. And the thing is I don't need to. What I realized at the pool, I have amazing curriculum, like there's plenty to do, right? I don't need to overplan. I don't need to overplan, but I do, again, always like to have options. So what I decided to do and how I decided to go about things was I made a list of major time frames in history. So for me, in HBLD, Native Americans, explorers in colonial times, Revolutionary War, and westward expansion. So once I kind of like categorized it for myself, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna look up some DVDs for that. Or Liberty Kids is gonna be for the Revolutionary War. Well, I wanted to start kind of the Little House on the Prairie series. So that will be perfect when we get to westward expansion. You know what I mean? So it's like I told myself to calm down, basically. I was like, okay, I'm getting overwhelmed by this idea of having to kind of pre-think all this stuff. One, Sonlight has a lot of good options in its instructor's guide. So does Build Your Library. Like I said, these are why I invest in these curriculum. I don't use them all perfectly or as they are written, but I can get a lot from them as we go. It's like me being able to trust that come November, I can make some plans. So I have a loose plan for that. And so that's done. I'm checking it off. That's it. Now I have done science, I have done history, I have done scripture. And so, yeah, I'm feeling much better. I'm gonna set you down. I don't know why I don't have you set down. So yeah, I am feeling much better. I feel like that was my own doing. I don't know if any of you do that, where you kind of, I don't think it's a control thing. Maybe it's a little bit of a control thing where I want it all organized and just so that I can guarantee that I'm not gonna have any problems next year, which is just silly. I know that's not the case. I do like to set myself up well. I think there's wisdom in that, but I got to the point a few hours ago where I was like, this is too much. So I readjusted. And so I'm gonna go take the rest of the day off and shut my brain off from homeschool planning and just enjoy the weather and enjoy the kids. All right, hey guys, so now I'm back for this last section. It won't take too long because it's really where I take my book lists, which I won't flip the camera around because this is kind of proprietary information as to like the order of these books for the Sonlight curriculum. I'm going to take my list and I'm going to go on my computer and I'm going to make note of any audiobooks. I'm going to make note of audiobooks, and then honestly, as I was looking through it, because my plan, and I'm not sure if I said this anytime recently, is that I am doing HBLD with my big kids, right? But then I'm also doing HBLA with my twins, my 6-year-olds, but I'm only doing half, right? I'm spreading HBLA over 2 years to keep my whole family doing American history for 2 years. So I'm only looking at our read alouds for the first 18 weeks here, and to see if any of them are on audio. And then as for like HBLD, where I'm doing all 36 weeks, there really is only one book that I feel like potentially I could skip. It might be just because I have not read from this author yet. So this is Justin Morgan Had a Horse, and I think this is by Marguerite Henry, if that's right. I know there's a number of readers from the level 4 Sonlight reader list that has these books, the horse related books. None of my kids have read them yet. I don't know if I have any horse kids yet. I keep encouraging my daughter because I think she would like it. But I think that's really the only one that I would consider moving to summer if we need the extra time. The other one I've heard that is a hard read, but I don't think that's going to shy us away from it, is Walk the World's Rim. I've heard that that's a hard one to get into, but the end is worth it. So I think I'm going to leave the readers as is and kind of just in the back of my head be like, maybe the Justin Morgan one. But let me just take you to my computer because I'm going to start getting on the library website and seeing how much of this we can get on audio. Okay, I actually take that back. I couldn't really easily do it on my computer, but I can easily do it on my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through here on the couple apps that I have. I have Everand, which is a paid subscription, but I love reading, and so I use it for my reading as well as the kids. But I also have Libby here, so that's what I found. Peacemaker is available, a 4-hour audiobook, and so I'm going to make note that it's on Libby because I would prefer it on Libby first. And so if it's on Libby, I'll make a note, and let's just get through my list. Okay, so I got through about half of the list, and then I realized, like, you guys don't need to watch me do this. I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to finish up my notes here, and then I'm kind of done. I've got, like, a few things to set up on my Notion. I'm going to, like, make note of the audiobooks that are available. I'm going to put them on there. I also just do all of my, like, course of studies, all of my kind of notes for the year go into Notion, and so that's really all I have left. That's all I have left, you guys. I mean, I need to keep pre-reading all the books I told you about last week, but otherwise I am pretty much done. I'm ready for the school year. I'm psyched. It's going to be a good school year. I'm also ready for a good break here, since I have kind of worked hard these last 3 weeks or so to get this all done and to get myself to a place that is time to relax. But I'm ready, and so I hope this was fun to watch me kind of take care of things, take care of business this whole summer. Let me know down below if you enjoy watching these types of videos. And if you just want to let me know you're here, let me think of a good emoji. Let's just do a book stack. Come on, it's like the most obvious emoji that really represents us pretty well. So, hope you all are well. I hope you're enjoying your summer, and I will see you guys in the next video. Kind of not even sure what it's going to be, but I am done officially with this summer prep series. So I hope you're well, enjoying your summer, and I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, guys, take care.